Here's what
Hello there.
No. You see, right out the box.
No.
Hey there. Welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage
from Grandpa Scrotum.
in sunny Santa Cruz, California.
Okay. Let me try.
Hey there.
Hey there. Welcome to the Recycle Garage, coming to you from sunny Santa Cruz, California.
Wow, that's making me feel like special down under.
It was close,
Hey there.
but he failed to mention
Grandpa's
Motorcyclettes and the Misfits, who we are. We're the Misfits.
Now do it as if this is exciting.
Hey there. Welcome to the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast, coming to you from sunny Santa Cruz, California.
No, you skipped something in there.
What did I miss? Motorcycles and Misfits Recycle. You got to say both.
Yes.
From the Recycle Garage in.
Okay.
Okay, take three.
Hey there! Welcome to the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast, coming from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California.
USA.
Very
Grandpa Scrotum.
done.
Grandpa Scrotum.
Okay. I think I got it.
Hey, everyone. This is Liza. Thank you for that lovely introduction, Craig.
Very welcome.
You know, I'm so happy that Craig is becoming one of our regulars now. He's very nice man. He's a very nice man. He's very clean.
I take a bath at least once a week.
Okay. Joining me in the studio tonight, still here for now, it's Stumpy John.
I am here. I have not slidden off the hill yet.
Is it now is your thing?
I have a poem.
Oh, okay.
Do you want the poem now?
Sure.
This is called An Ode to the Misfits.
Oh,
Are you two paying attention to my poem?
no.
They're not. I spent so much time on this, too, this weekend.
Go on.
I spent hours slaving over this.
God.
In a garage in Santa Cruz, a group of misfits gather round. With grease on their hands and oil on their clothes, they work on motorcycles they've found. These intrepid riders, fearless and bold, have a passion for the open road, and with their bikes they are never controlled as they seek out new adventures untold. From the mountains to the desert sands, they ride with a sense of freedom and pride. With each twist and turn, they take a chance and live life with nothing to hide. They're a group of riders with a bond that never can be broken. As they roar down the highway, they leave a trail of smoke and devotion. So, if you see the Misfits passing by, with their engines roaring and tires screaming, just know that they're living life to the fullest and chasing their dreams with a passion beaming.
I think
Wow.
that's lovely,
Quite
John.
beautiful, isn't it?
It really is.
You know what, John?
Yes.
You're a poet, and I didn't know that.
I didn't either until I got ChatGPT.
Very, very nice. Let's keep going, though. On the Classic Girl couch tonight, it's Miss Emma.
Aloha, darlings. I am so happy to be here. Yeah, I mean, John, your house is about to fall into the river, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
we're not getting there yet.
We'll get there.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there.
I still got more introduction.
Yeah, no, but nevertheless, I'm thrilled to say that Monterey, California, it's we've been pounded, but not to that level.
You are not an island yet.
We were for a day.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Also on the Classic Girl couch tonight, it's Craig the Giant.
Don't call it a comeback.
Been here for years.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig was wincing a little bit because we still have bags of dicks that we're eating,
Yes.
and I've been.
There's like a case left.
I've
And I've
never
been-
seen anybody cram dicks in his mouth as much as Craig has.
well,
Okay. Let's just get through the intro before people start turning us off.
I've been doing things to them.
Okay. And of course, joining us from his garage full of Vespas, it is Bagel.
Greetings from Oregon. All I can think of is the what's that skit, the too many dicks on the dance floor.
What?
I've never seen this skit. Can you perform it for us?
It's my dick in a box.
No,
it's,
I mean, would you like to perform an
that-
interpretive dance for us, Bagel?
No, it's that New Zealand comedy group. totally the name totally slips me at the moment.
I don't know of any New Zealand comedy. I know of the Kids in the Hall.
I didn't think anything was funny over there.
I have a question.
The Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is one of their skits.
Oh my God!
Hey, it's Knock.
Coming from the ashes.
But you guys keep passing
He's
the
alive.
Hey, coming from the asses. Hello, Knock.
Knock, would you like a dick?
Yeah.
Bagel. I have a question for you, darling.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was prompted by saying garage full of Vespers, and I know that you've got a lot of Vespers, but we are in fact looking at a Heinke Heinkel in the picture behind us. How many Lambrettas do you own?
I own 0 Lambrettas.
That's my favorite.
How many Lambrettas would you like to own? You can be honest.
7 million.
I did own a Lambretta at one point, but it was a basket case, and I got it cheap and I sold it cheap, and I never really did much to it. I got a few parts for it and fixed a few things.
It's not your comfort zone, sweetie.
Yeah, it's not something I have really a lot of experience with. I think they're great bikes, but it's just not.
Well, that's a safe answer, sweetie.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up, Bagel?
Hey,
But-
and
hey, Knock.
there's Knock.
So
Hi.
probably what you're saying
knock.
is
Knock, you want to eat a dick? We got a bag of dicks
No,
here.
I don't need to take a shit immediately.
so. In conclusion, Bagel, you're saying that all Lambretta riders are complete bastards and probably eat babies.
That's what I heard.
What?
Yeah, I think that's what we heard.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And you thought bikers are bad. we only eat full-grown people, not babies.
Well, hey, let's get to. So we've been pounded.
No, Knock hasn't done an introduction.
Yes,
yet.
I did. You weren't paying attention.
No, but he hasn't said anything.
Yes,
yet.
he did.
Bada bing.
What's up, dickheads?
There you go.
Right, even though today we have a break, it's nice and sunny out. A bunch of people came to the garage.
Yes.
Haven't seen Henry for a while. That was
Yeah.
great.
And there he was on his goozy.
Yeah, people came out.
Ben's here, too.
Yeah, Ben was here, and Patrick and James, and well, of course, a whole bunch of people. Kind of getting back to the usual. But we're still in the middle of all the storms, and
Yep.
we've survived here at the garage okay. Emma, you were almost on an island. You were separated from us
Well,
for about a week.
if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't come because the main highway was underwater.
Right.
This is how wild California's been.
But there is one of us who has suffered the
Needlessly.
repercussions of the storms.
By being married for how many years?
So that would be Melissa suffering, not me.
John, you are one of the mountain people. We
Yeah.
are all the flatlanders.
Right.
You mountain people are having it especially hard.
It's been, no joke, it's been really rough up there for a lot of people.
There's
So,
Widowmakers.
yeah, we had.
Do you know what a Widowmaker is?
Neighbor told me I think 600 trees came down in our area.
Yeah.
Like when we're talking redwoods, we're not
Widowmakers are
talking-
like
Yeah.
the branches on redwoods that fall.
And make people widows.
Yeah.
But our house specifically, I know some of you asked about this. We live on a Kings Creek, or on the side of a creek, and we had retaining walls and all that. But long story short, the creek overran its boundaries, and it basically took out the whole backside of our house. So we are
up to the house.
we're literally up right to the side of the house. So
The creek was running right by
his-
the
well,
house.
what
his
it did was
backyard
the
is
creek
gone.
took out the banks of the creek, and everything collapsed into the creek.
Is your backyard side
It's
yard?
gone. It's all
But
gone.
this is backyard. It's gone.
So we don't know what's going to happen from here because
Like the retaining wall
yeah,
fell. It's gone.
It's gnarly. It is really gnarly. So it's I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going to happen from here.
Is that a deck support that is
there's
now
deck
not
supports
supported?
are swinging in the air.
Don't go on the deck.
No, please don't. So so we'll see. We might be homeless here in a little bit. So
Damn,
Because
dude.
we have another. You say another
Damn.
storm coming. Yeah.
yeah, Monday's a storm. We're bugging out. I
Yeah.
can't stay there again. Put everybody in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Knock will put you up if you guys need. He's got plenty of room.
We could all cuddle together in one bed.
that could be
Okay.
so
Oh,
Bring
can
the
I be
dogs.
the big spoon, Knock?
You could be all the spoons.
Knock is my favorite misfit to cuddle with because he's hairless.
Mostly only on Tuesdays.
Well, he's like a giant grape.
Isn't that Willy Wonka?
He's more like he's a hairless cat.
big
more
old,
than a-
yeah. It's a hairless cat, exactly.
Well, and actually, since Knock's here, he can defend himself because I was going to throw out on my list. I have somebody got rescued this week.
Hey.
Oh, you know when you get that call from a friend, and you're like, oh, this is somebody who usually calls if they want to like go to dinner or hang out, but then they're talking a little bit different. They start with like, so how you doing? That call?
Yeah, I know. I feel.
Yeah, I got that from Knox. So what you doing?
So here's how this works, Liza. If I'm asking you to go out to dinner and have a conversation, it's a text.
Yeah.
If I actually call you,
it's just usually like dinner ?
Yeah, and if I'm calling you, bring tools and coolant or something.
When he calls, it's like, this isn't good. He's like, how you doing?
So
I'm like,
what
do you
broke down?
need? What do you need?
Oh, the Jixer ate a reg rec.
Nice.
Ate a what?
A regulator rectifier.
Gosh.
Rectifier. Yeah, it was about time. It was like the thing's got 30,000 miles on it. So, and the thing took a shit on me. Luckily, when I was in town and like less than a mile away from Liza. But previously, for the last 20 minutes before, I was in the hills just fucking around, But I got lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. He's like, I need you to bring an 8mm, a jumper, and a multimeter.
Yeah.
I have actually had a Jixer pull into my shop with the reg rec on fire.
On fire? Yeah.
On fire.
That's usually how that works.
Yeah.
On fuego.
En fuego.
So yeah, it was simple. I just gave him a jumper. So how did you make it all the way home?
I made it 90% of the way home, and it died. I was like, am I going to push this fucking thing?
No.
I was like, nah, let's just wait a second, let the battery level out. And I jumped it, and I just made it to my house. And the whole time I'm thinking, well, now I got to start looking at water pumps now, right? Like 30,000, 40,000. You're like, let's go to the parts feature and see how much it is.
I might be able to help you out.
You got a spare pump?
I got a spare pump. I got a spare alternator. I got a spare reg rec.
I wish I would have known. I already ordered one, so it's coming. Everything's already taken apart anyways.
Well,
but,
it's genuine.
Yeah. Oh, you got the OEM one?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
If you're interested, price will be right.
Thank you. Thanks for the heads up. I might want to buy it for just as a spare.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Probably a good
Well,
idea.
I'm parting this bike out, and it's got a brand new water pump in it.
Oh, shit. What
Because
year?
I built it. 05?
Oh, I don't know if it'll fit on there.
What year's yours?
Is an 08. Maybe. I don't
Oh,
think
no,
it's
I think
motor. It's a different motor, huh?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
The 0405's like a standalone thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, not got rescued, but
Yeah.
quickly deduced with the multimeter. It wasn't putting anything out.
Yeah.
He had the jumper to get him home.
It was one
Problem
of those
solved.
things you put the leads on it and you rev the bike. Oh, the battery's going down. It's not good.
But it was actually a good day for me because that meant that was the third bike of mine I got to ride that day. I know we're not getting sympathy from a lot of people around the country because they deal with things like winter. But yesterday I went and rode some bikes. Not long rides, but boy, it felt good.
What were you on?
Well, first I took the 690 Enduro
Nice.
up to Felton to go hang out with Mason George, who's going to be our guest next week.
Great.
Cool.
Mason's cool.
And he's a mechanic up there with his own YouTube channel and just went up to...
You got a YouTube channel, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody
Went up
does
there to
these days.
chit-chat, but mostly riding up 9, I had one of those rare occasions, this might be second time only, that I got unobstructed with no cars. I got to ride the entire length without a car.
Wow.
And this is a nice twisty road through the redwoods.
Did you go up River Street and all the way to 9? Or did you? No, oh, dude, that's nice.
Way back when, in the very early aughts, I worked for Santa Cruz Metro, which is at the bottom of Highway 9, and I lived in Felton. And I used to ride... I don't know what that noise is either. I used to ride Highway 9 virtually every day. And it's a very nice road to ride.
Yeah, but there's a lot of locals and tourists on that road because it's so pretty. So it's rare that you don't get
And they
stuck
don't
behind a
mix
car.
well because, of course, the
So-
locals go slow and the locals go fast and the tourists go slow and everyone gets frustrated with one another.
So that was it was nice just to go for a nice little ride, even though it's just a short ride, but twisties. Then I came back and I still had my boots on, so I'm like, now where am I going to go? And honestly, I didn't want to go too far because the road conditions are pretty crap.
Yeah,
There's a lot of potholes and road closures and...
It's a zero-sum game. If somebody's having fun on the motorcycle, somebody else's reg rec is burning out, kind of thing, So
So then I hopped on the Amigo.
Emma's favorite.
Yeah, I know. So my little Chinese 125
It's great.
clone. And I just took it down the street to the railroad tracks and rode it around the homeless camps.
Nice.
Classic Santa Cruz.
Yeah, I just rode it back there on the dirt and the gravel and just had some fun. Just acted like a kid. I remember one time Jim and I, when we first got our little electric mini bikes, we're back there ripping around and we're not bothering anyone, but some neighbor decided to call the cops, and the cop came out and found 2 adults on mini bikes in gear, by the way.
Yeah, we're being responsible, right?
And he's just shaking his head like, "Oh God, this is what I got called for."
Yeah.
On silent electric mini bikes, by the way.
Wow.
I know. So anyway, so that was fun. I'm just ripping around, and then when I got the call from Knock, I need help. I'm like, "Let's go!" Bike number 3. Hopped on the rescue scooter.
Dude, it's
the
really
guinea
cool.
pig.
Yeah. It's cool you pulling up on that red Honda scooter going, yeah, that's my rescue boat. That's the fail whale.
Well, and I
out.
was thinking about like my appearances, like, because, I'm like waving at other bikers and giving them like the head nod. And I've got Icon boots, Husqvarna gloves, a KTM jacket.
Yeah.
And I'm riding a little Honda Elite scooter.
Should have a sticker that says my other ride is Austrian or something.
Exactly. But yeah, I was more than happy to go rescue. 'Cause it was just nice to get out and ride in so long.
Do not sell that Elite short, because that thing will do 80 miles an hour, and it's absolutely terrifying.
I feel that bike will outlast every motorcycle that comes through this garage.
Well, we're actually going to get to that a little bit later. A couple more announcements. Unfortunately, because of this weather, as John is discovering, there is so much damage. The Sheet Iron 300 got canceled.
I saw that.
And that is a ride that a bunch of us were planning on doing this year. It's
Really?
put on by the Oakland Motorcycle Club.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, we're a sponsor of it. And
Oh, shit. Okay.
yeah, this year. And I was like, yes, time to do it. And they couldn't get the permit because there's so much of the terrain that is impassable right now. Mm-hmm. So that's canceled.
It's not the Sheet Iron Enduro anymore. It's the Erzberg, Northern California.
It's a sheet iron hybrid world.
Yeah.
Well, but on another note, our rally, which was supposed to be this weekend, and got postponed to next month. So April 21st to 23rd. It's still on.
Great.
Now, Hollister, where we're holding it, got jacked. Mm-hmm. Some of the trails that we ride now have like, a river across it that wasn't there before, and ravines on the trails. And in fact, there's a landslide on the road to get to Hollister Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They are working hard at that, but we are still planning on having our rally. We are still all in.
We keeps it real down here.
Exactly. So April 21st to 23rd, go to breakanywaytrips.com. It's the Misfits Rally. Come join us.
Yeah.
We're all going to be ready to ride. And here's the great thing. Even if a lot of the upper trails still aren't open, there's so much good riding around there on the streets, on the roads. So there's a lot of places to ride.
Yeah. I'll make you a gin and tonic.
I don't want a gin and tonic.
No, but anyone who wants to come and ask, I will make them a gin and tonic.
There you go.
And I might show them my boobies as well, because that's how I
No,
roll.
that's one of the raffle prizes.
Oh, that's right. We've got to save that for the raffle.
Yeah.
No squeezing, though.
Came for the riding, stayed for the boobies.
It was Emma's peekaboo.
Usually how that works.
Yeah, Emma's peekaboo. No squeezing.
Who's making that? Oh. Whose phone is going off? Emma?
Not mine, Emma.
No. It's not me.
It's not I.
Craig?
No, I'm.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's not-
Hold on.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
God, sorry.
Emma.
Figure it out.
Sorry.
Figure it out, Booten.
Wow.
Figure it out.
Amateur.
Craig was looking quite confident, and it's not me.
And it was me all along. Well, I've got two phones, because I've got my work phone, because I was actually doing
Big
business.
Wow.
And then the bat phone. Oh, do you have a shoe phone?
Yes.
You need one.
No, I do. I have a shoe phone.
Like Get Smart?
No, it's nothing like the Get Smart. It's like this red fucking
Agent
stiletto.
99. Yeah. So, Emma, you have an announcement about your trip?
Yeah, I do. So, the Dolomites trip is pretty much sold out. That's no surprise. That is the way to go. Castles and Curves, there is one space left. This is the trip of a friggin' lifetime.
Wait, you're doing 2 trips? There's one with you and Kat, and then there's a Castles and Curves one?
Two
Both
trips
with him.
back to back. And therein
Goddamn.
lies a little bit of the problem, because people thought it was the same trip, but it's two very,
But you can go on both if you want. They're
You
back to
can
back.
go on both. I mean, you're going to be away for a couple of weeks, but
You're going to be gone for half a month? Is that what you're saying?
I'm
Yeah.
going to be gone for half a month.
Damn.
And then
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to go to Vietnam in the fall.
Go back to Castles and Curves.
But
then.
Castles and Curves, this is a tour. We're staying in Germany and Austria for this one. We're visiting historic castles. We're staying in historic castles. We're going somewhere different every night. There is an incredible selection of bikes left. There is spaces left in some of the best hotels in Europe. How much is this going to cost you? Less than $3,000, Dummkopf. It's the best trip you're ever going to have. It really is. You're going to have a great time.
Bargain.
You're going to see some amazing stuff. It's a bargain, innit, eh? Because the hallmark of Leod Escape's Misfit tours is they're affordable. So I want everyone to be able to afford to go on this. And so for the cost, for the price of a used bike, you can tour Europe on a brand new BMW and hang out with me and Kat. And we're cool people. Thank
True
you very
that.
much.
Okay.
Sign up, go to Leod Escapes, and then either of the Misfit tours. I'm pretty much sure that he has posted the Dolomites training tour is sold out now. If it doesn't say sold out, I can assure you it is. But the Castles and Curves, if you see a space, go for it.
How many people are on this trip now? Both of them, right?
The
Well-
Dolomites is 20.
Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a crew, man.
And then,
That's a hell of a crew.
Castles and Curves, we need to be a little smaller because we're more flexible. Oh, Naked Jim!
The party can start now.
Wow.
Man.
Straight from off the road.
Knocked the finger.
Not the first one today.
It's a bug-covered Naked Jim. Man!
Yeah,
Think spring has sprung.
A little bit.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just passing through. Jake sends her love
Oh, cool.
and is doing great.
Right
Awesome.
I'll let you continue.
All right.
All right. See
Cheers,
you.
Bye,
Jim.
Jim.
Bye, Jim.
see you,
Ciao.
buddy.
It's like an episode of Seinfeld here. It's like Kramer coming in and saying, Jerry! And he just leaves.
He's got bugs in his
know.
teeth.
So, no, please sign up for it and hang out because I love my Misfit friends and I love hanging out with you all. And it's a good scene. It's a very, very good scene. You're going to have a good time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was scrapping for a topic for tonight, and I was like, nothing was coming to my mind. Like all week, I've been thinking about it.
And I suggested a topic, but it was no good.
Yeah, I shot it down.
Yeah, immediately.
And usually on Saturday, I'm like creating games, and I was like, no, I just haven't got anything. And I thought, is this going to be the one? Over 500 episodes, and this is the one where I'm like, I got nothing, guys. I got nothing.
It'll never happen
So-
on my watch, Liza.
We came up with a bunch of little discussions. We're going to see how this is going to go.
Okay.
So
you
the-
mean like how we used to do it?
Yes.
I'm kind of like that. So the first one is a question that John came up with. So I will let him ask this question.
So the question is, 10 years from now, when we look back, are we going to think that this right now is the golden age of motorcycling?
10, you mean like 30, 40. So the question is this right now the golden age of motorcycles?
And let me back that up. Why? Let me explain why.
And scooters. We always include scooters in that.
Number one, I'll say the internal combustion engine is at its peak right now.
Peak output, right?
Right. It's probably not going to be any better than it is right now because of the move to electric. Could be wrong, could be right. Secondly, you've got amazing motorcycles in just about any segment. So think cruisers, think venture bikes, dirt bikes, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's maybe not as romantic as it was in the 60s and 70s, but in terms of availability of bikes, types of bikes, price of bikes.
The prices, I mean, you can for $7,000-$8,000.
Right.
Some of the bikes you can get now are pretty amazing, like a Versus or an FZ07
Exactly.
or MT07, right? You're getting really high quality bikes.
I mean, we love the Triumph days and the Husky days and the CB750 days and all those. But really, is this like the best it's going to be ever?
Yeah. That's actually a good point. We're like reached peak mechanical efficiency, peak reliability or something like that.
Yeah,
think,
but
Yeah.
there's more to it than that because you can wax lyrical about how the bikes are great, now this, and it's safe, but once you introduce the human element into anything, it goes out the window. And you say things were very, very romantic back then. Here's the barometer that I use. And I'm not getting, and I want to make this clear, I'm not getting confused between being 61 years old and being 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Because, obviously the body you're given at 17 is a very different animal than the one you find yourself with at 61.
Different species.
But if someone was to come to me, if I was to, close up after this show, and bear in mind, I love my life now, and I love all of you, and I love everything about my life right now. But if I walked out of that door and a fairy godmother appeared and said, you could go back to 1979 with your scruffy JS1000, I wouldn't even give it a second thought. I would not give it a second thought. I'd abandon every single one of you, everything I know, everything I love, and I would just go back there without any hesitation at all.
What if you could do that and take your RF900 with you?
And, well, yeah, but these are idle dreams because I don't know whether I'd want to.
I think we need to define what the golden age means.
I'm gonna give this one a shot because Emma, what you described was very personal to you,
right?
And
exactly, and
only you.
And we've got to be very careful
be more
about
objective
this.
about it.
So that's your personal experience. I'm gonna say though that when we're talking about the golden age, to me that means more than just the technology and the bikes, but also the culture and community.
And so I stand by it.
Well, if you go back to the 1920s, 1930s, everybody rode. Men and women. It was everybody. We've been to SFMC and you go and look at the group, the group photos pre-1940s, and there was no stigma. Everybody rode. I think it was something for everybody, every man. Rich, poor, male, female. I want to say that right now, I think we are the closest to that. Again, in that everybody rides, rich, poor, male, female. Coupled with the peak of the technology we're at right now, I think it is a good argument to say this is the golden age for all those reasons. And not the 1970s, because women didn't really ride back then, did they? There wasn't community.
Oh, there was huge community.
Not including all. The communities were split.
I feel
it was a lot clickier. Then.
Mods and rockers, clubs. You got all different types of cliques. It was separate.
I feel like there's definitely more communication between people now, even though I feel like society has become a little bit more atomized in their little respective political niches or whatever. But like, you go online and you can just learn about bikes. Back then, you had to know somebody that knew bikes, and they'd give you whatever information they knew, whether it was wrong or right. Now you could just do a Google search and learn how to replace a reg rack and all that shit really quickly. I don't know. It's an interesting point.
I was going to throw in, that's another thing building off of that. As a mechanic, wrenching, which is a whole nother part, the ability to go onto YouTube and have instructions on how to do something has opened the door for a lot of people in wrenching too.
You've got to be careful. I feel it's never been easier to be a biker. And I use the biker term, in a very broad spectrum. Somebody
motorcyclist, yeah.
Motorcyclist. I think it's easier now than it ever has been.
Sure.
But it's just that visceral. You had to be there, man.
I'm going to have to I'm lending myself a little bit more to Emma as well. I don't know if all this technology and access to information and the bikes being the best they ever have equates to the golden age. I mean, you think of the golden age of movies. I mean, movie making technology is the best it's ever been. They have access to the most amazing. Does that mean it's the golden age of movies right now? I don't think so.
No,
but we're in this interesting moment where it's still analog and it's not quite all digital yet.
Yeah.
To your point. So there's something about that, the greatness of the analog being perfected. The second thing I'll say is, look at this podcast. We've got thousands of people listen to this podcast every year. We've never had those things in the 70s and 80s. There weren't a way to connect to people across the country except by reading like Motorcyclist and Cycle
And
World.
that side of it's great, but we want to make sure that we're not picky about it. I mean, if you just define quality of life, when I was 17, on a Friday or a Saturday night, you'd ride to the pub, you'd sit outside the pub, it'd be a beautiful, warm, sunny evening, it'd be in the countryside somewhere, and we all had big bikes. And that's the thing, we were very, very young.
Can you say the same thing about Alice's and the scene up there? I mean, it's not an evening drink in a pub, but it's a group of motorcyclists together.
Yeah, and I mean...
How about just every Sunday here, all the people
Exactly.
show up?
Right, exactly.
It's the same thing
but
here.
it's like... And this is why I'm very, very careful about I was very young and free then.
Right.
So...
It's a little different, yeah.
Maybe there is no golden age.
Well, I was going to say that's an interesting point too, Knock, because if it's not now, right at this moment, then when was the golden age of motorcycling? Was it 1979 when Emma's cruising those mean streets, or was it?
Well,
19
in 2035, if California goes through with their ban on internal combustion, are we going to look back and say, "Damn, it was so great when we could buy piston engines"?
Yeah, I could literally burn oil
Well,
inside
yeah,
my
but
motor.
it's
almost
not...
like we look at when two-strokes were.
It's not going to be like you can't ride them anymore. You just won't be able to buy a new one.
Right.
So now, just as Tad showed up today on his RD400,
Right.
there's no ban on Tad riding that thing. It's just you can't buy a new
Yeah,
one.
but I want one.
I know. That's a
Yeah,
side
I mean,
topic,
you don't make new two-strokes, but they're still around. Let me ask Bagel, what is the golden age of scooters? Does it align with motorcycles, or is this a completely different timetable?
Jeez. Well, again, I think it really comes down to how you define it. I mean, there was a golden age of classic motor scooters, from the late 50s through the early 60s. That's
Which is evident from the styling still today.
right, and just the popularity and just how iconic it was, how much of an imprint that left on our society. But in terms of production, modern scooters are produced in much, much larger numbers, but they're done. Most of them are done so cheaply, like all these scooters coming from China, that it's like it's kind of become a disposable thing.
But isn't that what they said about Japanese motorcycles also in the mid 60s?
Well, yes, but what I'm saying is that I mean, not that people really thought of scooters as much. Well, they were kind of thought of as disposable just from the beginning, but they were built well enough.
Well, of course, rockers, we call them hairdryers.
Well, sure, right, but it was done to a price point and everything. So, and they were cheap. It was cheap, reliable transportation. But how do you define a golden age, though? I mean,
height of popularity. I mean, there's a lot of things, but
Most
I just had a vision about the golden age, which is yet to come. And I'm going to pitch that the golden age is going to be in the not too distant future when we take away the constraints of big corporate companies, the constraints of how do you say amalgamation? Did I say it right? Amalgamation. When we take away the constraints of production numbers.
So define
and we
amalgamation.
hold on. We talk about 3D printing custom bikes. We talk about on demand. We talk about design your own bike and print it, which we know is coming because there has been 3D printed bikes. We know that from your
Prototype
friends.
bikes, yeah, for sure.
I know, but I'm saying I think the golden age will be when we're not being told what's cool, but we get to think it up and create it. And I think that future is not too far off.
Except if it's internal combustion.
Well, I'm just saying, I think that I see a lot of things coming where we all get to build our perfect bike. You can get the parts. I mean, yes, a custom chopper is that, but it is not really designed for function and value, right?
Right.
Functions is
But the future can be, and I think will be.
Here's my other argument too. At this moment in time, I can go down to Emma's shop on any given day and see a Vincent Black Shadow or a classic Triumph or a classic Harley. I can go to the East Coast and go to Wheels Through Time and see 1920 bikes that are running actually, or I can go see a Zero or an Erica or whatever it is. So we're like in that moment where we can really enjoy the past and in essence the future at the same time. And I don't know if there's ever been a time that we could do that before.
That's it's pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, like if you're in the 1930s, maybe mid 40s, would you be able to foresee electric drivetrain motorcycles doing what they do now? You know, like.
Well,
that's interesting.
Let's get down to something a little more personal. All right? In this room right now, how many people out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this room, you're exempt, Bagel, because you're not in the room, how many could be living their lives as they do now in the 1930s?
Would be
I can't.
0.
No, shut up, white man.
No, don't necessarily go there, Liza.
Wow.
But
No.
Got real here in a minute.
the freedoms we're given,
Yeah.
the freedoms we're given here means that we can live our lives in relative safety and dignity as we are. And it's very easy to look back to like the 1930s. Yes, more people rode. But I don't think you'd want to live back then, Liza. And I don't think you'd want to live back then, Knock.
Probably not.
And I certainly wouldn't want to live back then.
I'll be running
Craig
an
and I only
opium
want-
Yeah,
den.
but
Well, so
me born then would be different. So I'm just saying.
here's another question to get well, just think of this. So, can you even recognize when you're in the golden age? Because so I just go back to movies, the golden age of movies, the height of popularity when the theaters there were no cell phones, there was no that was like what you did on out. Do you think those people during that time could recognize this is it? This is the height. This is the golden age.
True. That's the reason for my
or-
question. Yeah.
It's always a retrospective view.
Hold
right?
on.
That's what I'm saying.
I
so
can build up.
it
I
even
can
be in the future
I
or
can-
in the present? I don't even
I
know.
can
if it-
further define that answer. Right now, we are in the golden age of podcasts. Podcasts that were new, that are still unmonitored, unfettered.
Right.
They're free, right? And we're in this huge boom now of podcasts. This is the golden age until somebody starts
Corporates take over.
taking over and restricting and registering and licensing. Right
My
now,
freedoms!
this is at its height right now. So we are in it right now.
I can remember when I first heard the word podcast and what I was doing. I was listening to NPR and it was on Breath of Fresh Air.
Which is like one long podcast.
Yeah, and it was Breath
So-
of Fresh Air on NPR and they said the word podcast. And the point I'm making, it wasn't that long ago.
That's true.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? And they were explaining what a podcast was. I think it was about like...
So maybe you can recognize it.
You can recognize. I think I can
That's
recognize it right now for that. But I think it's a fair question, and I think it's a question that we can throw out there to our listeners to answer. What do they think is the golden age?
It's going to be a very different answer for different people.
Yeah.
And I will quantify that, you know, I've spent many years as Reggie Jackson's mechanic, and it's something I've never...
Oh, he's got a new movie out.
Right, and it's something I've never sort of really talked about on the podcast, but thanks to frigging Bubba Schobert last week, of course, it's out now. And I remember having a very, very interesting conversation with Reggie. And I was telling him how fascinated I was by American culture in the very early 1960s, kind of 60, 61, 62. And how we look back on that as being a very halcyon time. And Reggie looked me square in the eye and said,
No.
I don't.
Hell no. Yeah.
Not if you-
And,
only if
you know,
you're white,
I'm
yeah.
Reggie
that's-
Jackson.
And
I will
that's,
say, yeah.
that's a very, very defining moment.
Yeah.
Is what's a golden age and a halcyon time for one person isn't necessarily for another. And that's a very, very broad brushstroke I used in a very, very obtuse way.
Yeah.
But the scene in England in the late 1970s and very early 80s might be very different to what the scene was in Germany or what the scene was right here in California.
I mean, to that point, the other thing I'll say is, growing up in this, I could never watch MotoGP. It was you'd have to read about it in a magazine.
Right.
It never was
Now
on TV.
you can.
I can watch that. I can watch the Harrisburg Rodeo. I can watch. I mean, everything is available to us right now. So the culture is accessible, and not just the custom culture is accessible in ways that it never was before. It was very centralized and regional as opposed to international.
Yeah. Very good.
So yeah, send us your emails. Let us know what you think. What is the Golden Age, and are we in it now, or is it still to come? Yes, it could be different for different people, but I think that there's a good argument that we might be in it right now, and part of that is, as you said, the peak of the combustion engine with the value and the performance you're getting right now is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I guess there isn't any specific golden age, but like maybe there are certain common attributes of what considered a golden age. Like it has accessibility, it has reliability of this, and how it's spread through the culture, yada yada. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and I think a lot of folks my age are always complain, oh, it was so much better back in the 60s and 70s and the 80s. I think we should just enjoy. This could be the best time of motorcycling ever right now. I mean, and we're alive, so yeah,
yeah, for sure.
All right, so moving on to our next controversial topic. Now,
There's no controversy
unfortunately
here.
for Knock, he was not here in the garage today, so he doesn't know what this is. So I'm about to pin him down.
Ooh,
And this is somebody who
baby.
does not
Let
like
it happen.
controversy, and I'm going to predict he's going to try and squirrel out of this answer.
Let's get my mental gymnastics going here.
This is, I'm going to let you off the hook. This is just your opinion, which is personal or regional, and I will we'll get to it more. So
Sure.
whatever you say does not mean that you are leaning one way or the other necessarily.
Gotcha.
So here's my question. Knock, are you a rider or a biker? And what is the difference between them?
I guess I am a motorcyclist. Biker in the cultural sense of being an outlaw. I've done stuff that's not perfectly legal, but I wouldn't consider myself a biker in the...
but that was back in your opium den days.
Right, exactly. Exactly, when I was smuggling opium in my crankcase. No, it's like, if it's cast as in a certain way of what a biker is, I guess I'm more of a motorcyclist than a biker.
But I said rider.
Oh, a rider?
Right. What's the difference between a rider and a biker?
A rider and a biker. I don't know. This is the fuzzy part where...
Which do you identify with?
Should we start defining what terms mean? Because this
I'm
is
just
how...
asking you, what do you identify as? A rider or a biker?
Oh, I guess mostly a rider. Mainly because I do focus on being able to ride and perform well on a bike.
That's fair enough.
For a long extended time. Yeah.
Do you all kind of agree with that? You identify more as a rider, not a biker?
See,
Emma?
I identify as being potato-shaped.
Aren't we all, though? If everybody's special, nobody's special. I am a potato.
I take exception to that. I'm pear-shaped.
Let's go back to Emma's halcyon days. I was very, very proud to call myself a biker back then. And there was very much the biker uniform. We all wore jeans and black leather jackets, usually with a fringe. And
That's a biker.
Right.
Well, that's
If there's fringe,
that's the aesthetic of a biker, right?
Right.
Not so much the attitude.
But,
but you lived it. You lived that.
but we lived it. And I was
Sure.
very, very proud of that.
Right.
And we rode, rain or shine. And riders were very much seen as the guys who commuted on their bikes, who didn't really carry a passion for them in their heart. And I know I was kind of wrong, because just because somebody had a humble bike that they commuted on didn't mean they loved that bike any less than I loved mine.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But, it was seen... There was something vanilla about being a rider. It's kind of like, he's married and he's got kids at home and he probably listens to the Carpenters. And
So do you still identify as a biker, not a rider?
No, I've mellowed so much in my old age.
Oh, so you're
So I guess
you're a rider?
I feel part of the theme too is like we are constantly changing and developing our identities.
Yes.
And maybe when you're younger, you fit into a certain sector and you realize maybe this is not really me because there are aspects of it I don't enjoy or like. And so you move yourself out of that little niche and group and you realize you're a little bit more your own person and you're doing your own thing and, whatever. You find a different group and then you find another group or whatever.
To be fair, in England, and it's still the same now, it's very, very tribal. When you're young, when you're a teenager,
for sure,
you got to be somebody because if you aren't somebody, you're nobody.
Yeah.
And so you're a biker, you're a hippie, you're a skinhead, you're a fucking chav. Chav culture is new, but it's something that you identify with something, and it's very, very important.
Wanker.
So, Bagel. Does the same exist in your world? Are you all scooterists or are you riders and scooterists? Is there a difference?
Well, I mean, there are different sort of subgroups within the scooter world. I mean, there are still mods out there. There are scooter boys. Just all kinds of different types of people. Other people who are more just into the history and collecting of them. So it's a mixed bag, really.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of? We always mock about the flip flop wearing college kids. Are they scooterists or are they riders?
They're trying to get cheap weed, man. That's what's happening. Find me some, good ganja for free.
Like, do you differentiate?
Well, I mean, technically they are riding scooters, right? So they would be considered scooterists. They're definitely not, for the most part, not people who are interested or even have any knowledge about the culture of the whole scootering, subculture that exists out there. So, in that sense, they're not scooterists per se, but as riders of scooters, technically they are scooterists of a sort.
So I found it interesting because I know that this changes, around the world and just even regionally here in the U.S. For me, I think same with you guys. I think it's a regional thing that we think of bikers more likely to be a Harley or cruiser rider who wears, leather, right? That's more of a biker, and that a rider is somebody who rides sport bikes or any other, is a daily rider. I mean, everything.
Sure.
But I found it interesting. So I posted this question on a few different groups. And like one person said, well, a biker can also be a cyclist.
Hell yeah.
But then someone else,
Get that cardio going,
So
bro.
here's another person said, here, biker tends to be narrowed down to the cruiser chopper crowd, whereas the other two are less apt to instantly be interpreted as such and open to the rest of the demographics available. Another person said a biker can have negative connotations depending on location. A rider is more neutral. However, when I type in biker, it brings up the cyclist emoji, a bicycle. Another person said I identify as a rider, not a biker. And I find it interesting because people identify as one, not the other. And there are some stereotypes or connotations. This person says, in France, Harley riders tend to think that they are the only bikers in the world.
Interesting.
Another person says, I refer to myself as a biker because riders are on bicycles and horses, etc.
That's an interesting point.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a semantics game.
Which is the opposite.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets interesting. Another person said, I look at passengers as riders and the person in control of the bike as the biker.
Yeah. There's something in that.
Another person said, does it really matter? It's all the same. Another person said, I never thought about the nuances of biker rider, so I call myself in both ways, but obviously it depends on the location. There was some other, let's see, I posted in another group, and it's just very interesting. See, rider as a general term is what they prefer. Biker brings up stereotype images of an older guy riding a Harley.
And the truth is, the only thing, and I'm not even going to say it irks me.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the sign of inexperience. If somebody says they drive a motorcycle,
Yeah.
And I'm going, no, you ride a motorcycle, you ride a bike, you don't drive a bike. And so if you extrapolate that to its purest form, if you ride a motorcycle, then you are a rider.
Well, here's someone else said, rider rides weekend just for fun. A biker rides because we need to as much as possible.
So it's a mental illness.
Isn't that interesting? To me, a cruiser person is always a biker, and a rider rides a sport bike. Somebody said one showers.
I wonder which one that is.
I'm gonna go with that definition.
Yeah.
How frequently you shower?
I don't see the bicyclist thing though, because I think of them as bicyclists or cyclists. I don't see the line, the blurry line with that. That's the one thing that I'm not.
According to Iggy Pop, he is the passenger. Yes, that was Iggy Pop's most famous one.
Biker rider. I mean, it is kind of interesting. I think that some people identify as one or the other, and then the other has some more negative connotations to it.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting how we've kind of developed these stereotypes. And then I love the one, the bikers on the front and the riders on the back. I'm like,
it tells me that like how diverse this community is, because like now you're having to introduce terms to separate what's in the community. I mean, I guess that's typical of what humans do, is they categorize stuff, but like yeah, I mean it's very diverse, more than most people realize, which is the interesting point, I guess.
Yeah. Well, for our next segment, I decided to bring back something we haven't done in a while. This is the Tell Me Why segment.
Oh, why?
Yeah, dude.
And so I had also put out a message, asked people to send us some, but I have...
Didn't realize how much I miss saying that on the podcast.
So John has one for you. Let's see. It's about the sound a Harley makes.
Yeah, so everyone says a Harley goes potato, potato, potato.
Yes.
But I kind of, as an Italian, I think it goes tomato, tomato, tomato.
That's not a tell me why, but okay.
Tell me why it's not tomato, tomato, tomato
There
instead
we go. Tell me why.
instead of potato, potato, potato.
Because there's a lot of Harleys that are sold in England, and Harley, you could never say Harley goes tomato, tomato, tomato.
Oh, potato.
There's no such word as fucking potato.
There's no.
No, it's not
no-
potato.
Why if there's tomato? Why can't
That
it
is
be
a good
potato?
question. Wait,
The British don't have the word for potato. What the fuck?
That is a good question. In England, is it potato, potato,
No,
potato?
it's potato.
Why don't we
Potato,
call
potato.
tomatoes tomatoes? That doesn't mean he's used.
Because English,
Tell me why.
But
the English language is really four different languages all crammed together in a dirty trench coat
This is
trying to be
true.
one. That's why.
Yes.
You guys are a big gangbang of languages.
all right, I have another one
You
for
don't know
you.
where one starts and
Yes.
begins.
So Emma,
Yes.
tell me why.
No, it's just... Please.
Tell
Tell
me
me why.
Thank you.
Honda Rebel riders are the furthest thing from a rebel.
Oh, God.
Don't sell them short. They're just getting into the motorcycles. The illegal stuff comes after. Okay, that's the.
They should be the
Okay,
Honda
okay, okay.
Plebes or something, not the Rebels.
I think it's a classic case of projection. I mean, Honda... No, I think Honda realized they were onto a winner when they made the Rebel. And in fact, for a long, long time, the Honda Rebel was one of the most important bikes in the Honda lineup.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a world bike. It was very aspirational in a lot of countries, and we regard it as a beginner bike. And I think, it's a very conservatively made bike, and everyone likes that little touch of naughtiness. So I think it's a classic case of projection. Honda saying, I'm going to call it a Rebel because it's a little rebellious streak, even if it's implied rather than actually a part of the bike.
66 and a 65.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
What a rebel. All right.
We're going to
I
be
have a theory.
rebellious because it says so on the side. But they're great little bikes.
All right.
Like, I didn't put the
Can
shopping
I
cart
offer a
back
theory?
in.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if it is a subliminal advertising message that is being sent to teenagers whose parents do not want them to ride a motorcycle, but they want to be the rebel and ride a rebel.
Yes.
Okay, I got
You
another.
and your rules, Dad.
I got another one for you. Tell me why
Tell me why.
a gears stop at 6. Why aren't there 7 speeds or 8 speeds?
No, there can be as many speeds as you
But
want.
why do they stop at 6?
Real estate, darling. Real estate. It's as simple as that. So if you're building a racing engine that really has to do 10 laps and then it's done, especially if it's a small capacity engine, you could go to England, Germany in the early 1960s and ride a 50cc Kreidler or an Item with 18 forward gears, because you needed that many forward gears to make use of this tiny, narrow
So it's
power
the
band.
semi-truck of motorcycles?
Well, no, I mean, just bap, 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 you know. However, that's all very well because the gears themselves were very fragile because they were thin. And of course, you're only putting about 5 horsepower through them. Now, let's take... Jim was just in here. Let's take Jim's GSX S1000. 160 horsepower, a lot of horsepower, but still with quite a narrow crankcase. Now, some metallurgists have said to themselves, okay, how narrow can we make these gears before they grenade? And we're going to have to make them so they last about 50 to 100,000 miles. And so they come up, they're going to be about 1/4 of an inch wide.
Yep.
How wide's the crankcase? It is this wide. So with the dogs and everything, this is how many gears we can reliably fit in. Famously, and occasionally I switch to cars, for the longest time, Toyota transmissions, the 4-speed was the one to have because the 5-speed was a lot more fragile because they tried to cram that extra 2 gears. Because remember, it's not 1 gear, it's the main shaft and the counter shaft gear in the same space. And it wasn't as reliable as a 4-speed. So, 6 gears, for the longest time, we had to make do with 4 gears in motorcycling and cars. Then, cars up the ante. First production car with 5-speed transmission, Fiat 125. In 1969. And that was the first production car with a 5-speed transmission. Now, of course, everybody's doing it. And then... the advantage of a 6-speed is you can make the 5-speed fairly close ratio, so burp, 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 burp. And then 6 can almost be an overdrive.
Yeah.
It can be a very tall gear. So when you're cruising on the motorway or the freeway and you're chugging along at 90, instead of the engine being at 6,000 RPM and sounding quite biblical in its yelling, you can burr down to 4,000 and it's all very nice.
To be quite honest, I really appreciated the CB900C 10-speed.
Well, that really wasn't a 10-speed. That was a 5... No, it wasn't.
It was.
Liza, it was a 5-speed with a high-low splitter on the back. Yes!
No. So it was just like a 10-speed bicycle where you have 2 gears in the front, 5 gears in the rear, right?
It was a 5-speed transmission with a high-low split on the shaft. That's what it was.
No.
Yes.
The other transmission shifted it. It went 13579 or 246810.
We're just eating popcorn here, the rest of us.
No. It's inside the engine were 10 gears, 5-speed and the countershaft equivalents.
Right.
So that's your 5-speed transmission. Now, on the side where the shaft came out, there was a high-low shift.
Right.
And then you couldn't go high-low, 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 high-low. You couldn't do that. You had a choice between going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in low, which would be the equivalent of 1, 3, 5, 7.
9 or 246810.
But you couldn't do it on the fly.
Right. But what you could do, and what I did when I rode mine, when you going up into the twisties, and I'd be in, say, 13579, and I'd find that my gears were not quite tuned to the road and the speed I was on, so I was having to downshift and upshift, downshift and upshift. Then I switched it over to 2468. Now I'm able to just throttle off, throttle on, throttle off, because it tuned it to that speed and that road.
It's really kind of semantics. It was the same gears inside the engine doing the same thing.
Half a shift. I mean, it was
But Honda kind of said, well, now we're going to...
It was 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Could you go sequential? 1, 2, 3, 4,
No,
5,
no.
6.
You
had
can
to
either
say
go
three
1, 3, 5, 7,
odds or
9, or
evens.
2, 4, 6,
It
8.
was a conventional 5-speed
Okay.
transmission with a high-low shift.
Then I agree with-
Honda
yeah.
chose to call it something different. But Honda had been doing that for years already before the CB900 came out. The CT70s and the CT90s all had a high-low shift on them.
So it wasn't like a truck where you have a split rear end where you can
No, it was done at the front.
Yeah.
And what you had was where the output shaft came out of the engine, you had a couple of gears, one big and one small. And it had its own little selector fork. And in the CB900's case, you had a little lever that you could actually operate with your heel if you were clever. And it just kicked the gears over and it went ka-chunk. And then that engaged with the shaft bevel. And then it's... But you couldn't go one low, one high, second low, second high, third. You couldn't do that.
No.
No, but you could pick which range you wanted to be in for that road you're on.
It's a 5-speed transmission with a high-low shift.
Which made it 10 speeds. It's the same as a 10-speed bike. You have a 2 and a 5. It makes it 10. You just could not go through them in consecutive
I mean, technically,
order.
there's 10 speeds there you can choose from,
Yeah,
but not.
They were each different.
10 ratios.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It's 10 ratios.
It was 10 ratios.
Okay.
So,
So the short answer to that is physics, man.
All right.
Fucking physics.
Craig had one. Do you want to do the suicide shifter one, or should I read it?
You can read it.
So the question is, tell me why
Tell me why.
Tell me why.
suicide shifters aren't on the right side. If it's a suicide shifter, you'd think it'd be on the right side.
They don't want to die that hard. Just a little bit, right?
She's like trying to wrap her brain around this one.
No, I mean, the term suicide shift has got nothing to do with which side the transmission is on. It's just the way Harleys shift. You see, suicide shifts appeared on Harleys. And if you understand where a Harley shifts from...
But why is it called a suicide shift?
Because you
take one
take a
hand
hand
off.
off the handlebar
Right.
to shift
So if you're
it.
going to take a hand off the handlebar, the right hand coming off is a suicide. That's what I'm saying.
You gotta. What? You had to cross over.
Then they should just call it a stick shift.
You're just
Right.
Are you just,
If you really
But
want a
the-
suicide shift, put it on the right side.
But that's why it was
funny.
called the suicide shift, because you take your hands off
Yeah.
the bar, and it was usually on a modified bike that required some controlling. And once you understand how Harleys shift and where they shift from, you understand why it was where it was.
I think the question is more, why are they calling it a suicide? And that ain't a suicide if you're only taking your left hand off.
Right. And, you know, the hardest one was with the mousetrap clutch as well.
Oh, yeah, with the
because
foot- yeah,
because
yeah.
Harleys for a
Like
long,
a
long
car.
time were what's called toe-to-go. And toe-to-go was your clutch was a pedal. And it'd stick anywhere you put your foot. When we see those teams like the Cossacks can do what they do because they don't have a spring-loaded clutch.
interesting.
You can set your clutch to a certain amount of slip, and it'll just stay there. And
Interesting.
so you kick your clutch pedal back, and it's completely disengaged. And then you push it forward with your toe, and it engages and you go. That's why it's called toe-to-go. But at any point between completely disengaged and completely engaged, you can set it with a certain amount of slip, and it'll just stay there. You just take your foot away.
Personally, I think a suicide shifter or any of the old British bikes that have the controls reverse, because the first time you go to downshift and you lock up the rear wheel brake, you're like,
I've done that.
"Yah!"
Yeah, I've done that too.
I've done that on a Victor. It was fun.
That's suicide shifter.
That's I think if we go back to the beginning of the show in halcyon days, that's the one thing I am so thankful for about growing up when I did, because I'm completely ambidextrous on bikes. You can put me on a British bike or a Japanese bike, and I can ride it like that. Even with the traditional shift pattern for a Brit, which is right-hand shift, 1 up, 3 down. That's the traditional shift. And a Norton Commando retain that shift right up until the end. 1 up, 3 down.
That's some racer shit, though, right?
Yeah.
You push it down for.
All right, well, we got some more that were sent in. Knock, you have one there that I think you can answer.
Not really a tell me why, but
Tell me why.
Ish.
from our friend Ken Brine. Okay. I do have a question. I know that many of the longtime Misfits have made the mistake of growing up and having lives. We just don't hear from Doug, Kat, award-winning Mike, even Knock. Hey! That much anymore. But here is my question. Are you getting new people showing up at the garage, and why are they not joining the podcast? I love Liza, Emma, Stumpy John, and Naked Jim, but miss the occasional crowded shit show. Ken's getting bored of y'all. You need to spice it up a little bit here.
Quite rightly, too.
It's spicy.
You know, funnily enough, we had this conversation. I had this conversation with Liza earlier this morning, and we were talking about, you know, why people come and go and how their lives change, and they get married and they have children and stuff like that. And the fact is that, you know, me and Liza are Peter Pan. We've never grown up. We've never really gotten involved in the trappings of what would be a normal life. I mean, I differ from Liza because I'm married, but I have a very unconventional marriage, to say the least. And I never had children. Liza's never had children. So we never kind of grew up. So we can throw ourselves into
Any
this.
children that you know of?
No children.
But proving my point is you are fairly newly single, are you not, Craig?
I am.
Oh.
So
Is that official announcement?
Ladies.
What are you doing later, Craig?
This is a tall man. He's tall.
He's handsome.
He's got long legs. He's handsome.
Yes.
That's right.
He's got a career.
And he eats a mean
Got
dick.
a JOB. He's been eating dicks all day.
But, so, my question to you, Craig, is there any link between your newly minted being single and you being able to do the podcast every Sunday?
No.
Yes.
No, I could do it.
But would you want to? Because I have a suspicion that when you were in a relationship,
No.
you had better things to play with on a Sunday.
No, there's no link because, I mean, maybe a very, very small link. But I would say some people go deeper than others, though. To your point, if you have kids, maybe you have more of a reason to not come out and do the podcast.
Right.
But for me, it would be kind of like you to set that precedent. Like, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I do. And whatever partner you're going to be with has to be cool with it. Or, you know, it's a big part of your life. I guess everyone has their priorities. So I guess.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But the reality I was going to say is a lot of those people still come around the garage.
Yes.
The community is still there. But yeah, for a lot of people, there's a time commitment that they're having to make to family.
And it's not a bad thing. If we use award-winning Mike as an example, you know, Mike runs a very, very successful business, and he works extremely hard from very early in the morning until very late at night. And he said, look, I'm just going to do this during the week because then the weekend's my time. But he also has very, very young children.
Yep. Just had a baby.
Just had another baby. So given the choice between hanging out with us and doing the podcast and actually seeing his kids while they're young and cute before they turn into nasty teenagers, it's really no-brainer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And I can't blame him. But Mike comes around, but he's just not making that commitment for the podcast.
Yeah, it's life. Life happens. But the reality is, I mean, Knox said it himself. He would rather be like having dinner with the kid, you know?
Yeah.
There's things he'd rather do. It just gets to a point where, like, this is where you would rather be or not. And your life goes on and changes, and your priorities change, and your hobbies change, and you'd rather be doing something else. That's fine. And there's always room for new people. I mean, Craig you've been in and out for a long time, but you're becoming more and more of a fixture and doing events with us. And, like, we're always have an open chair. There's plenty of chairs in here, and sometimes this will be a packed room, full, and sometimes there's just a couple of us. It just depends.
Yeah, well, I mean, suffice to say, I don't take these kinds of opportunities for granted. You know, like it's not every, I get to sit here and talk bullshit for a little bit and get mail, and this is a kind of unique experience, and it's nice to know that I could always come back here for it, which is
Well,
what's big, I guess.
it's very comforting, and it's very in a very, very uncertain world. It's a very good place for me to be.
There you go. Yeah.
Because it's very, very stable in here, and everybody knows who I am, and I know who everybody else is.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, I mean, it's almost become habitual.
Yeah.
But I don't take it for granted
Yeah.
because it's a nice environment.
It's a garden. It's a garden, right? You got to tend to it.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
can't
You
just
got to
pull
put in
stuff
what you
from
get
it.
out.
Yeah.
But here's what it boils down to, and this is something I've always tried to make this a place people want to be, but it's not a commitment.
Yeah.
You can come or not come. It's not a job. And as long as I keep making it fun, people tend to come.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's my responsibility to make it fun and enjoyable for people to come. And that's what it comes down to. But the reality is we're quite fortunate that we have this huge pool of people who've come and gone, who've been a part of our community, of our garage. And that we always know that there are more. And yeah, at the garage, we have a lot of people coming and hanging out.
It's like a beautiful quilt, and stitches will
we're
come,
very fortunate.
and we're building and making the quilt. And you know, whether you've been the fabric of the past, came back.
Okay, you lost me with the quilt thing, but that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Well, and
All right.
I'm also surprised about. There's still a lot of people we could bring into this, even just from Santa Cruz. I mean, I'm always running into riders in Santa Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Woodwell was one of them. He didn't know anything about us till I bumped into him in Home Depot, and all of a sudden he's part of the community. So we just got to keep telling the story and bringing people in.
Yeah.
All right, I have another. Tell me why.
Tell me why.
Thank you.
And this one is from John.
Not me.
And he's Johnny Powell from South Carolina.
Hell yeah.
He says,
Hell yeah.
Tell me why are desmodromic valves on Ducati engines so much more difficult to perform maintenance on?
Oh, God.
What would be required for a person of halfway decent mechanical abilities to be able to learn to service their own bike? I've always wanted a Monster 1100, but the Ducati tax has always scared me a bit. I'm sure this has been discussed before, but as a newish listener, there are still 458 episodes I haven't had a chance to listen to yet.
So let's get into what desmodromic valves are. Because it's a very
There's a Ducati right behind you.
it's a very, very misunderstood
Another
term.
one there.
So a desmodromic valve goes back to the very, very early days of high revving motorcycle engines. And it was actually, I believe, Mercedes carried the patent for it for a while. And it
Hold
basically
on, I'm sorry. What was that word you just said? The patent?
patent.
Okay.
That's British.
Is
for patent.
this back to tomato?
Yes.
Potato,
Right.
whatever? Okay,
So
just checking.
Mercedes carried the patent
There it is.
partner for it
Speak English.
for
Speak
a long
American.
And so basically the way a desmodromic valve works is it opens quite conventionally. Usually there's some sort of rocker arrangement, and as the lobe of the cam bears on the rocker, it presses open the valve. Well, that's all very well and good. Now, in most engines, there's a spring that closes it. Thunk. Now, back in the very early 1950s, when Mercedes were developing this technology, springs weren't exactly great like they are now. And they found that above a certain RPM,
Couldn't keep up, right?
it couldn't keep up. And you get this thing called valve float. And valve float can be absolutely catastrophic in a high revving
and if you
engine.
make the spring harder, stronger, now you have to compete against that. And you're losing
That was more of an issue with
efficiency.
push rods, right?
Right, exactly. So, desmodromic valve gear negates that by having a positive method of closing the valve. So a completely separate lobe on the camshaft. When the valve is fully open, the closing lobe comes into play, and a fork arrangement, which works on a collar around the valve, closes it. By using this method, you can get an engine to theoretically rev to stratospheric amounts.
Yep. And
Now-
a lot of lift, too.
Here we are in 2023, and the truth is, and Ducati owners are not going to like me saying this, The desmodromic system is obsolete and has been obsolete for many, many years. It doesn't need to be because spring technology now is so good. You could actually make just as much power with conventional valve springs. The thing is, it's become a very, very niche thing. Ducati and desmodromic valve gear go together with peanut butter and jelly, just like Kawasaki's a lime green. I'm sure I've told this story before, that Kawasaki actually wanted to do away with lime green in the early 1990s. It was old-fashioned, it was old hat, nobody wanted to do that anymore. And the dealers reached out and said, look, this colour has become so inextricably linked with our brand. If you take away the lime green, you'll decimate sales. And so it is with Ducati and desmodromic. Since the 1960s, desmodromic valve gear has been so much of a part of Ducati.
Yeah.
You can buy conventionally springed Ducatis, but it's all about the Desmo. So, going back to the question, how hard is it? Once you understand what's going on, they're not that hard to set up. Yeah. The opening shims are very, very easy. And in a lot of cases on the 2-valve engines, all you have to do, some of the opening shims are the easiest. You literally pull the rocker aside, pull the shim out and put the new one on, and that's it, you're done. The closing shims are the ones that cause problem because you have to be absolutely cocksure with your math. Most of the closing shims require a 0 clearance. If you have too big a clearance, you run a risk of dropping the valve. If you run a too tight clearance, that can be catastrophic because you could actually destroy the valve.
How do you get more tighter than 0?
Slamming it into the head.
It's math, darling.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can, because of minor discrepancies in the closing cam. You might set it up, or your math might be wrong, and you might be able to force it in. But when you actually do the closing cam, it just destroys the valve.
So, Emma.
So basically, what you need to do, an average mechanic can set up the valves on a Desmo.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into it now. I could devote an entire history hole to the subject. But you need to understand exactly how the system works, exactly how the system is weak, and make sure you have tons of opening shims and tons of closing shims.
So would you suggest a decent home mechanic try this? Or
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Because in a lot of ways, if you're a good home mechanic and you understand mechanics, you can devote far more time to it than, say, I can. If I get a Desmo bike on the ramp, I've already quoted, this is how long it takes me to set up a Desmo. So you're paying me this amount. I need to get that done so I can get back to the next job. So I'm not going to rush the job, but it needs to be done within a certain time, or I'm not going to be able to keep the doors of my business open.
Yep.
If it was my bike, especially if we live in a place where, winter's a little longer, you can take weeks to do this thing, and
time.
it really doesn't matter. Take your time, understand what is happening.
Yeah.
Understand that when you turn the piston to top dead center, you can actually drop the closing shims out of an engine, and the valve won't drop into the combustion chamber. It'll just go and sit on top of the piston while you do your shim changing.
Yep.
Good workshop manual, opening shims, closing shims, and a complete understanding. That's the key. Anyone can read a sentence, but reading a sentence is only half of the thing. You have to understand the sentence.
All right.
So, yeah, one more thing. I feel like the more goofy aspect of doing the Desmo is actually the belt thing, where you have to flick it and it has to be at a certain frequency for the tension.
Oh,
The
yeah.
whole
I mean,
fucking- the
Ducati...
very Italian thing.
Ducati make a very, very big deal about the harmonics of the belt.
Yeah.
The truth is, you can set them up without the harmonics.
Yeah.
What I recommend for people to do is understand the mechanics of it. For a long time, we'd do belts at Ducati, and you take your longest run, and if you could just turn it through 90 degrees, then that's the perfect tension on the longest run. And if you do the harmonics and then try and turn it through 90 degrees, it works out at about the same thing.
So,
Yeah.
does it help to have a harmonica for this?
Yeah, it can.
Okay.
Because you can entertain
Piano,
yourself.
middle C. Bing.
Yeah.
See? Bagel, you have a tell me why that I sent you. Can
Tell
you-
me
No.
why.
I do.
Craig's got it locked and loaded.
Okay. So this one is titled, Can You Ride What You Can't Pronounce?
No, that's their email for later. There's a tell
Oh.
me why that I sent you.
Oh,
Tell me
yes, Tell me why.
There it is.
Okay. This is says, Good afternoon. This is from Lynn Biggs, by the way.
Yep.
Hello, Lynn Biggs.
She was on our show.
Yes. She says, we have two questions.
Okay.
My question, why can my husband go 80 miles per hour in a curve and I can only go like 40? Is it strength, skill, experience, guts?
Yes.
So can I take this one?
Of course you
Depend on
can.
the bike.
I do believe that part of it is strength because I have ridden mostly with like guys, and I remember riding behind a friend and watching him make no effort into the turns, and I was having to make a lot of effort and using my body and my legs
Wait, hold on
and
a
my
second.
hips. Hold on, and I think it's because men have more upper strength that they're applying to the bars, and women are using more of their lower body to achieve the same thing.
What
You say no,
bikes-
but I'm just saying.
What bikes were you on?
I don't know. I was probably on my Ducati,
Uh-huh.
and he was on maybe an FC1.
Well, we have a professional
But
instructor here.
I mean, I've ridden behind a lot of guys, and I remember just watching like people look like they're barely moving and they're going in the turns, and I'm having to really work harder. So I think upper strength for men does play in part to that.
Craig says no.
Less is more. You were just fighting the bike a little bit more. You don't need very much strength. And the strength of a woman or man is irrelevant for this question.
There it
It
is.
does not have to do with strength. It has to do with confidence, technique,
Yeah.
but not strength.
Well, I'm going to ask a question. Understand the question. How come we're not seeing more women at higher level of racing then, if that's the case?
There are. Not
not-
at GP level.
Not at
is there?
GP level. Not at, I mean,
I think that's.
I
a
think there are
culture-
wonderful women racers out there.
No, I
There's
think
a
that's-
whole lot
that's
more
a
that
cult-
goes into
hold
that
on, hold on.
equation.
It's a cultural issue.
Is
yeah.
it cultural?
Yeah, I feel it's 100% cultural. I mean, because boys do bike stuff, girls don't do bike stuff. I feel like a good maybe 80 to 90% of it is cultural.
I'm not going to say there's zero amount of strength that's
Well-
involved when you're at the highest levels of
Oh,
racing.
yeah.
But
No,
she's
that
talking
totally
about
counts.
a corner from 40 versus 80. Yes, strength certainly plays in the highest levels of racing in the world.
Yeah, there's
That's
a minimum.
indisputable.
Yeah, there's a minimum level of strength required to turn a bar at speed for sure.
There's probably
You
other
need to do
factors
it.
too, like bike setup versus weight, suspension.
That depends highly on the bike as well.
Yep,
I still think I'm right.
of course.
I still think that
course.
men's upper body strength does have a part in it. Yeah.
If there is, it's a very very negligible.
Yeah, but when you were riding at, higher speeds and really pushing it, that does come into effect.
I don't
Not on
know,
daily day-to-day riding. No, you wouldn't. It
And
makes no
it's
difference.
true. You think about most professional racers,
Look.
I mean, they're little people. I mean, they're, 5'7",
Okay,
5'8",
look.
140 pounds.
Yeah, but that's a weight
all
thing.
things being equal, if
Yeah.
you're a rider and you are on the same bike and you weigh the same amount and you're going at the same speed in the corner, it's probably going to take you the same amount of force to turn that bike. And do you have the lower limit to be able to turn that bar? I think that's what it is. And I think a lot of it too is like there's a perception about dudes being more aggressive, that women can't do it because they're not as quote unquote as aggressive. It's,
But I will agree because she also listed skill and experience. I think those two have a greater effect on it.
oh, absolutely.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if skill and experience is the same, I do think that the strength does have a part in it too. But the strength or the technique and guts, that has a bigger part of it. I agree. But there's a second part to that, Bagel.
There is. This is her husband's question.
Okay.
He asks, why do Japanese bikes seem to need 3 Allen bolts to attach a part to a motorcycle, and a British bike requires like 16 of different types? Allen, hex, Torx to attach the same
And
part.
Wentworth.
And Wentworth. You know we love our Triumphs. We have 4. Also, apologize to Liza if I use the wrong terminology.
No, you used
Thanks,
the right
Lindsay.
terminology.
What is that joke about how in hell the mechanics are British and the chefs are Italian or something like that?
What?
And nobody knows what you're talking about now.
You know,
Wow.
Bagel
So-
knows.
You've offended 2 of us in here.
Exactly.
Surely you mean the one that in heaven,
In heaven.
the police are English.
There you go.
The
Yeah.
chefs are English. The lovers
are
are
English.
the lovers
That's
are
French.
English. The mechanics are English. That one.
Maybe. I might have misheard it.
The answer is very, very simple. And we're not talking about modern Triumphs here, because modern Triumphs are built very much along the line of modern Japanese bikes. We're talking about vintage Triumphs. It's technology, pure and simple. The machines themselves and the machines that made the machines were a lot less technologically advanced. In order to get a mating surface on an English bike, you had to have a lot more fasteners on a certain length to get the thing to hold oil, which sometimes it did and sometimes it didn't. Japanese bikes, the Japanese manufacturers always were never shy about investing money in technology, and not just of the bikes, of the production line.
Well,
But why did it have to be 16 different types?
I think metallurgy is going to come into this too, and casting.
Yeah.
Right, and there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And the thing you've got to remember, and it's a lot of it's a difference between America and England. We're not talking about Japan and England, but let's talk about America and England. And I'm not counting Native American culture. If you talk about non-Native American culture in America, everything's less than 300 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Approximately, yeah.
More or
If
less.
in England, it goes back thousands of years. So now let's make that same analogy with motorcycles, with Japanese and English bikes. Japanese bikes, their research and development is, we'll run a bike for 10 years, completely end it, and then start something new. So the majority of stuff you're riding is no more than 10 years old in design. British bikes, some of the designs, and American bikes are the same way too, like Sportsters, go back to the very earliest days of motorcycling. And the same with the cars. You know I love my Jags. You know, on a Jag, you have Whitworth fasteners and AF fasteners and metric fasteners on the same car.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, you get that on some American trucks now. Well,
Right.
Some metric and some American.
Well, my Isuzu King
Yeah.
Kong is a Japanese truck with an American engine, with Japanese and European stuff bolted onto the engine. So the engine itself is American fasteners, but the AC unit, which is, I think, German, is Bosch, is metric. The fuel injection is Japanese, which is metric. So, you know, it's British bikes. Some of the components on a British bike remain unchanged since the 1950s and the 1960s. And so it may be Whitworth, it may be a cycle thread, 28 TPI cycle thread. It may be a AF, maybe metric.
I wanted to give a shout out to KTM on this subject. Emma.
Yes.
What size fasteners or what size wrenches do you use on a KTM? What range? How many different
All the torques.
wrenches?
All the star
Oh,
bolts.
very, very few.
Yeah.
Very,
In
very
fact,
few.
what they do is they reduce the head down to an 8. So many
Yes.
of the screws are a Torx inside, or on the outside is a
Right.
8 hex, regardless of the bolt.
And
Very few tools
however,
throughout the
and
bike.
you've fallen foul of this yourself. The big problem with that system is you need to be cocksure of what torque setting that bolt is, because it may have the same head as a high torque bolt. And the amount of KTMs out there that somebody has stripped the thread for the oil lines or the oil filter cover because they're like, oh, it's the same size head as the high torque, don't change the torque wrench down, and it's instead of 8 foot-pounds, they're kind of cranking it up to 20 and, oh, strip the thread.
But I still give them credit compared to what they're saying about having so many different fasteners. They reduce the amount of tools needed on that.
And, you know, it's just a case of thinking it through. Harley-Davidson, for a long time, if you wanted to pull the primary case off a Harley-Davidson Sportster, out of, I think, the 15 bolts that held it on, there were 10 of them that were different lengths.
All right.
And not by a large amount.
Yeah.
And Harley have gone a long way now to making sure that everything's the same length, so you can't bottom it out or strip it out.
Well, all I know is in the future when I build my printed bike, it's only going to have 6x30 bolts in the entire thing.
Very good.
Craig, you got one there? Pick one of those to read.
Tell me why.
Tell me why.
This is from our friend John.
Hey, John.
Johnny!
I was in an advanced motorcycle training class.
Okay.
3 Harley Davidsons and my Yamaha FJ09.
Okay.
The instructor said I did better because I had a, quote, sport bike. I think it was because I practice regularly. One thing I noticed when we lined the bikes up, at least one of them had what I think was a 19-inch front wheel. I know why they put bigger wheels on off-road and adventure bikes, but tell me why does Harley put a bigger front wheel on a bike that would be hopeless off-road?
Well, that's kind of...
And you were just handling that chopper with the big front wheel.
Well, that would have the 21-inch. So let's talk about what's a big front wheel and what's not a big front wheel.
Is 19 a big front wheel?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I'm old enough to remember when that was the norm.
Yeah.
1719, right?
No, 1918. 19 front, 18 rear. For the longest time. 750 Honda, 1918. Z1, 1918. H2, 1818. You know, it was the 19-inch front hoop was the standard. Now, what I can tell you about Harleys is Harley have made a very, very good living making traditional style bikes. Can we agree on that? Very good. Now, Heritage Softail is probably one of their most retro style bikes. That's got 16-inch wheels front and back, just like the old Hydroglides and Electroglides of the day. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the one with the 19-inch front wheel. And in my opinion, that's one of the important... Now, that's a chopper, isn't it, darling?
Yes.
But the 19-inch front hoop goes back to what, in my opinion, is one of the equally important bikes of Harley's heritage, and that's the Super Glide. Now, the Super Glide has the distinction of being the very first factory custom. And when I say that, I mean... the manufacturer actually listened to the consumer and said, this is what they want, and we're going to build it. So the Super Glide was the answer. It really was a factory chopper.
Okay.
And it carried a 19-inch hoop. Because back in the day, what the guys were doing, there were a lot of guys making them with 21-inch front wheels, because that's a very, very pure look. But they handle like hell.
Except on all of our dirt-capable bikes,
Right.
you need to have that.
But on the street, a lot of the chopper guys back in the day was using a 19-inch front hoop. Where do you think they might have got those from? All the British bikes being ridden around. So that's why even now, like the newer Harleys, still carry a 19-inch front hoop, which to me is not a big wheel. For street application, you don't need a 21. You really don't. If you're riding off-road, you need a 21. But to have a 21 on a purely road bike, it's just for aesthetic reasons. You can't argue with me that there's any real advantage. You know, it's going to roll a little slower, but unfortunately, usually the style dictates. If you've got a skinny 21 on the front, you're going to have this big fat 16 on the rear, and handling is going to be a bit of a challenge. So
right.
it's kind of half answered.
I think we have time for one more. Emma, pick one on that sheet.
Okay. Tell me why.
Tell me why.
Oh, man.
I can't recall if you've addressed this before in a podcast, but I think many of us senior riders hold this in the back of our minds. When does one know when it's time to hand over the keys? Oh, this one's going to be easy.
That's a tough one.
This would be asked by the meeker granny, not wishing for her last breath to utter, "Oh shit," straddling her beloved bike. I think that'd be a perfect way to go. Sign me as a senior woman, 70, who goes to the gym, pumps iron, runs several miles at a stretch, still with a very long bucket list still. So, and that just comes from B. So,
That's an interesting question.
it is an interesting question, and it's going to vary tremendously from person to person.
Yeah.
I remember a doctor, my GP actually told me, and we used to have some very interesting existential conversations, and he said, I vividly remember one of my patients coming to me and saying, you know, I forgot where I put my car keys. Do you think I'm beginning to get Alzheimer's? And his answer was, if you forget your car keys, you probably don't have Alzheimer's. If you forget what the car keys do, that might be time to start thinking about it.
So I have an answer to this.
That's a good one.
And there's a whole industry because of this. And I think people get to a point where they're not as strong as they were. And holding up a bike, regardless how big or heavy that bike is, can be hard. For some people, you know, a little cruiser like a Savage 650 can be heavy for them, right? That's why there are companies that create those outrigger wheels for people who aren't comfortable holding their bike up anymore. It's something as simple as coming to a stop sign and putting your foot down. If you're riding a big Harley, you get to a point you just don't have that strength anymore. And so the risk of going out and dropping your bike gets greater. So these outriggers come out when you're going slow and they support you and you keep going on, as opposed to riding a trike or a Can-Am or something. So I think for a lot of people, that time comes when the risk reward has flipped, right? And that risk might be something as simple as dropping the bike at a stop sign, not necessarily getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
It's when you dread the risk of going out on the road for whatever reason that is. But you get to a point where you're not going out and riding in the rain like you used to. You're not doing the long ride like you used to. And you just keep...
And it's funny, for me, as I get older, I'm a lot less comfortable riding on my own now than I used to be. I like being in a small group because I like having kindred spirits around me.
Buddy systems.
Yeah,
helpful.
it's buddy systems.
Yeah.
You know, back when I was younger, I was, you know, I'd just jump on my bike and just
for sure,
ride halfway around the country on my own without a thought about it. But now you think, you know, especially if you're on some of those lonely roads, you know, I remember riding 198 from Pinnacles all the way over to the Central Valley to Coalinga. And I was like, if I wrecked this bike on a turn and went into a ditch, I could lie here for days.
Yeah, no one would find you. For sure.
No one would even know.
Yeah.
And, you know, things like that start playing up. I mean, inherently, as we get older, we tend to get a little more cautious as we get closer to our maker.
So I wanted to ask Bagel this question because that reason I just stated,
Because you're
bike being
old,
heavy
Bagel.
isn't necessarily in play as much with scooterists. So Bagel, what makes a scooterist put up the keys?
I mean, I think it's the same for any rider. Is, you know, it comes down to whether you trust yourself with riding that bike still. because as you get older and your your reaction time decreases and your skills decrease, you might feel like you're not able to control that bike as good as you used to. And for people who I've known who were getting up in years, that's kind of been their decision point, was that when they felt like they weren't able to control the bike, like they felt like they should, that's when they decided they wanted to hang it up.
So here's a question for you, Bagel. And I know you own both, which is why I'm asking you. As you get older, would you see yourself finding a bike like your GTS 300 with sharp brakes, very sharp power delivery, but completely automatic transmission becoming more of a handful than, say, the Heinkel behind you, which is manual transmission with marginal brakes, but everything's just that bit more mellow and softer? Which one could you see yourself riding more easily as a senior Bagel?
Oh, I think the GTS rides a whole lot easier. The Heinkel is that it's a simpler machine, but it is a handful in terms of, especially with the way the shifter works. It's an acquired skill to shift smoothly, and you really need to be you need to be in practice to do it well. And I noticed that when I don't ride it very often, I go to ride it again, my shifting is pretty sloppy, and I need to get back into it.
Very good.
But the GTS, it's all very standard, very simple, very predictable.
And the only reason I brought up the Heinkel, because looking at it, if you were to paint that in plaid, it would look just like a pair of old man's slippers. It's that shape. It is the shape of an old man's slipper.
Yep.
So another thing, a factor that comes in that I wanted to point out, because I face this with my Africa Twin right now, and that is where you park, right? And getting it in and out. For some people, for me, backing my Africa Twin out of where it lives, it's a risk. I had to struggle to pull it out. So for some people, it might just be maneuvering it within their home if they don't have a place, getting it in and out.
Yeah.
That might be a deal breaker.
I feel like at that point, you start imagining, like, maybe I should get a lighter bike. And it progresses to, like, this is the lightest bike I got, and it's still too heavy for me. And what do you think? Yeah. How do you? What's the criteria? It's always ever changing, I guess. The older you get.
Well, that's a good point. My dad's 74, 75, rides like 5 days a week with my mom on the back. They're going out multiple times a week still. And I was just facing myself with the same question. Not like it would be my call, but it's interesting that we got that from one of our listeners because I was thinking, like, when is it going to be when Willie might call? But then he used to have big bikes the whole time. And then he just bought that same thing, a 310 GS. And he is riding it like every day. He loves it because it's so light. He's used to something so heavy. So maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's not a black or white, hang it up. Maybe it's just get something a little.
I think it all depends on if you're feeling unsure and nervous. And then you probably should not ride.
Is it the Hunter S. Thompson way where you're getting shot out of a tube, or do you want to get yourself squeezed out?
Exactly.
I think like for the duration of being able to do this the rest of my life, I think getting squeezed out doesn't seem like a bad option.
Well, for our next segment, I realize we're going to run out of time, so we're not going to get to everyone. So I'm going to start with mine because I have a decree that I thought of. A decree is basically an announcement, a position I am taking that may go against the norm. And my decree is that my Honda Elite 250 is the best scooter ever built.
I'm okay with that.
Now, I'm going to tell you why. And I know Bagel's over there tilting his head like...
Oh, he's got
Bagel's like, suck my dick. Fuck you.
He's gone. He's gone purple.
Not happy right now.
Bagel's not happy with you.
And I'm going to tell you why. So that scooter is a 1987 scooter that I got from Emma with 850 miles years ago.
Yes.
Had hardly ever been ridden.
Yes.
Damn.
And I got it, and I'm using it like it's supposed to be used.
Yes.
I ride it around town. I go rescue knock.
Dude.
I
I took that thing to the doctors to get x-rayed, and that's pretty fucking awesome.
It's great for what it is. Sometimes I'll go to the store. This morning I took it to go get some breakfast before I open the garage. It's my get around town little go-getter. And yes, with very little maintenance. Little maintenance. It just starts and goes every time. But this is a 1987 bike. If I had a 1987 Honda, I'd be replacing electronic components. I'd be replacing fuel lines. I'd be replacing brakes. I'd be replacing stuff. It would not be as reliable as this bike has been. And I think it's because it's a Honda. It's simple. It's well built. It is reliable. It is unkillable. Therefore, I think it has withstood the test of time and proven itself to be an exceptional machine.
Sure.
Bagel, what say you?
I think it is a good bike.
Oh!
Wow.
Okay.
I don't want to disparage it in any way because
Do you have one, Bagel?
But
I do not have one. But
For those reasons.
I will say that back in the day when I was getting into scooters and was into the classic European scooters, and I was looking at the modern Japanese bikes, the Yamahas and Hondas that were out in those days. That Elite 250 was the one that I thought, if I was going to buy a modern Japanese scooter, that is the one that I would get.
You don't have any Japanese scooters, do you?
I do not.
Damn, bro.
They're below
He
him.
doesn't have any Lumbrettas either.
Well, you should get at least one like Japanese scooter.
I
Just to round out the collection.
I would love to have an Elite 150 Deluxe with the pop-up headlight.
There you go. So cool. There you go. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Maybe we'll see someday.
Okay, we have time. I think we can do one more. Which one of you wants to do your decree?
Oh, I'll do mine.
Is that
And I will
You guys can
defend
save
it.
yours because I think these decrees are a big deal. Emma, what is your decree?
I think the RF900 is one of the best looking sport bikes ever made.
No, not one of.
Okay, I think the RF900 is the best looking sport bike ever made.
Bollocks.
And I am going to tell you why.
There's a lot of models around
You
here we
need
can
to-
look
No,
at.
just hold on.
Do we have an RF around here?
Rationalize your.
I think I need to
your
see one in
statement.
one of
I
these
think
many...
we can do. We were talking about the golden age of.
That's the closest.
We were talking about the golden age of
close enough.
motorcycling earlier on in the show, and I think everyone can agree the golden age of sport bikes was the 90s. It was absolutely the golden age for
I don't know
styling.
about that.
Okay.
For styling, I don't know.
We're talking about styling here, Knock.
All right. Well, I guess.
And so when we consider that, so we've got this window from, say, 89 to 99. And everything kind of looks similar, except the RF900. There is nothing on
Right.
the road that looks like that
Right,
bike.
Craig's Googling it.
When you see one in the flesh, it looks like nothing else. I'll show you a picture of mine.
I'm going to say the Britain is a better looking bike.
The Britain's not a sport bike; it's a race bike.
It is a sport.
It's a
bike.
racing.
It is a sport bike.
Where are its lights?
Doesn't need lights.
It's a racing bike.
It still is a sport bike.
If we're talking about racing bikes,
Street bike
Liza,
or sport
the
bike?
best looking racing bike ever made was the Norton F1. By the long chalk.
Now, I will
The best
agree
sounding
that
racing bike
the
ever made.
RF is a good looking bike. I like the louvers on it. It's got a good ass. But the what's the
The VR4 kind of looked like that.
It's better looking bike than the RF. And I'll tell you how I'm
No,
going to.
no,
Okay,
no.
I'm going to name two that are better.
okay?
Both penned by Massimo Tamburini.
Yeah.
The MV Agusta F4.
That's the one I was just thinking of.
And
The
the
ass on
Duke-
that thing, that ass.
Dead ass. And,
It's a one trick pony. It's
And-
a one trick pony.
okay, well, how about the 916?
Never been a fan. Never been a fan of the 916.
That's a 746.
Never been a fan of the 916. See, you've got to define good looking. If we use the actress standpoint, okay, can we all agree that Farrah Fawcett was a beautiful actress?
Yes.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what, so was Karen Black. And Karen Black was not...
never heard of Karen Black.
I
Who's
got to
Karen Black?
Google Karen
Karen
Black.
Black was not what you'd call conventional looking.
I know you'll disagree. I think the GPZ 1100 is better looking. That's my opinion.
With the Batmobile?
Yeah.
Dude, Karen Black's the smoke show. Those old
However,
ass photos are damn.
You know what? I will agree. It is a good looking bike. I think we all grimace when you say it is the best, but I don't know that anyone has provided yet an example of something that we all agree is better.
Right.
And I'm searching.
And
searching
and
around the room.
I will stick my neck out. There is no way you could describe the Britain as a sport bike. It is a racing bike. And there are great-looking racing bikes, of which the Norton F1 is just...
You know what?
I don't know.
And I'll say that the Ducati is known to be a beautiful sport bike. And I'm looking around the room at all these Ducati models, and I'm like, they all look the same.
That
they
RC,
kind of all look the same.
So define beauty. In my
But I'm going to say the F4.
part of the beauty, the F4 is a great-looking bike, but is a one-trick pony. When you take away those tailpipes, it's got nothing.
Ass.
It's got nothing.
And it has to be the square, not the
I don't know.
round.
The Honda VFR 400R is pretty hot. It's the single-sided swing arm. Captain
No,
America
I'm go-
colors.
I'm going to go to the expert here. Bagel, do you agree or disagree with her?
I'm not familiar enough to say.
Okay.
I think
Tell you what.
Yes.
Let's let our listeners be the judge here. How about that? Yeah?
Sure.
Yeah,
Because
I
I'm
think-
going to say you've made a compelling argument, and none of us are coming up with something that is above and beyond better. What is that blue bike behind your head?
The RC45 is pretty hot, though.
What is that blue bike?
You might want to check that out.
Oh, that's an NR750.
That
And
NR750
Is that the one
is a
had
good-looking
the
bike,
weird
too.
engine?
Oval pistons.
Oval
yeah, it's the
pistons.
oval piston engine.
That's a good-looking bike.
It is a great-looking bike, but you know what?
Yeah, and there's
It's-
another one
It's
there.
got a peculiar ass. And I love
like that.
NRs, and there are some angles on an NR that work better than others, and it's by far my favorite bike.
All right, so let's let the listeners let us know what you think. And take a look at the Suzuki RF900.
And make sure it's
And-
in a good color, like
and if
the
you
purple
think-
and
Gotta be
yellow.
purple one, yeah.
If you think that there is a bike that is better looking than that, send me an email with that picture to say, Emma, you're wrong. And send it to motorcyclesandmisfits
Sport
at
bike.
gmail.com.
Sport
Yes,
bike.
but not a racing bike, not a cruiser.
So
Fairing sport bike or even a
Street bike.
like a
I
you know, a
you know
fairing
what?
street sport
all right,
bike.
all right, hold on. And I know this is not the same category at all, but I will say, I think that Honda Adventure scooter is better looking than the RF900.
The X80V.
I mean,
That's a good looking bike.
I'm kind of on board that I like it for the same reason I like the RF. There is nothing like it. And that's part of my argument for the RF. It was the golden age of styling for sport bikes, and it just was unlike anything else.
but it didn't sell though.
All right,
Doesn't
all right,
matter.
all right.
Katanas didn't
Well, we're
sell
gonna-
any either, and they were
ugly.
masterpieces.
Oh.
Let's hear from our listeners what they really think. Well,
Give us your 2 cents, please.
yeah, give us your sense. But we got a couple emails to read. John,
We
you
still
have one
doing
there.
emails? Holy shit.
Well, the other ones were the Tell Me Whys. Now, these are regular emails.
These are regular emails. All right.
Okay, this is from Patty from NJ.
Hey, Patty.
Patty.
Patty's an old friend. I Misfits. You missed a Michelin star of motorcycle restaurants. The
Okay.
adventure bike.
Yeah, for cooking on your motorcycle.
They are comfortable and always ready to make your day more comfortable. The aluminum boxes are your oyster. The top box can be heated. Use that camping gear Oh, that's true. On the aluminum boxes, you could throw like a sterno thing in there. Never thought about that. You got
Yeah, Greg, you missed this. We'd had
could
the
make,
whole
like,
thing on cooking
pancakes.
meals on your bike.
You make pancakes and everything on that then.
Pancake.
Sorry, I got distracted. Top box, we use that camping gear that you carry to the coffee shop. Slow cooked ribs. Right box can have the heat off the exhaust pipes into it as a smoker. And for dessert, I'm glad you asked.
Hydrocarbons.
Liza, put an ice cream maker in the left box. Pack it up on ice and just ingredients, and the bouncing on the trail will make an awesome ice cream for after dinner. I legit might see about using my right pannier as a warmer for a lunch stop. Patty.
There it is.
Oh, that's not bad. Bagel, you have that email I sent you?
Silly geese.
I do.
All right, go ahead and read that.
So this is an email from Sam Hill. And
what the Sam Hill is that? Sorry.
Sam says, I hope you're drying out, Misfits. John, this is John from Maryland here, doing a bit of riding in the rain myself lately. So the founders of Harley Davidson were three guys named Davidson and one named Harley.
Okay.
Specifically, the three Davidsons were William, Walter, and Arthur. The other fellow was William Harley. I'm told they decided Mr. Harley was the one most crazy about motorcycles, so they called the company Harley Davidson instead of Davidson Harley, despite the brothers outnumbering Mr. Harley 3-1. Which leads to my question: what does it say about Harley fans when many of them call their bike Harley Davidson, leaving out the second D in Davidson?
Is that true?
Is the single D used for the same reason HD bikes use a single pin crankshaft to save money and give us a lumpy ride?
Wow, it's Harley Davidson hate mail. God damn,
So,
son.
Emma, he also provided us a picture. Now,
Look at them.
those are the Davidsons and the Harley. Do they look
Yes.
like accountants or what?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All
The
business,
Davidsons
baby.
all look
All
like
business.
They all
money
look
people.
like accountants.
That's all right.
Old-timey money people.
There's a little one who's scowling, and I think that's Arthur Davidson.
They're all scowling.
Yeah, no, the little one. The little one's very scowly. He's got a very furrowed
Yes.
brow.
They're scowling because they
Do
all have
people
lead
say
poisoning.
Harley Davidson?
Well, I think if they're stupid, they do.
I think only because they're drinking.
Yeah, I've never
It
heard
could
anybody
Davidson.
refer it to a Harley
Davidson.
Davidson. Except
It happens.
Davidson.
It happens in the car world as well. You know, a lot of people describe those Italian sports cars as Alfa, which is ALPHA, Romero. So you've got an Alfa Romero. It's like, what?
All right, we got time for one more. We got a little short one there. This is a good one, Emma. What you got?
Oh, this is from Michael Dawn. He's
Hey,
one
Michael.
of the Dons. Hola, Misfits. Thanks for addressing my email last week regarding me trying to quiet down my loud HD
Yeah.
Road King that has aftermarket slip-on. Quick update. I've decided to follow Miss Emma's advice and
no.
go back to stock. Smart guy. Fortunately, I had stored my stock mufflers away and they are in excellent condizione.
Ah, good.
My
Nice.
question is, do I have to tune my bike again when I switch back to the stock end pipes? I will keep the high flow air filter. Thank you. By the way, I ordered and received the Motorcycles and Misfits t-shirt as thank you for your advice.
cool.
Thanks for the podcast. It's a great looking shirt.
Yeah, that's one of the ones from Zazzle. So we have the shirts available on our website for sale, but then we have these designs I put up on Zazzle so that anyone can get whatever size or color
that
or,
different than the
or
one-
style
How would you
of shirt they
describe
want.
that? Is that? Would you say that's mustard or pudding?
Khaki.
It's pudding.
Pudding.
It's pudding colour.
Yeah, but that's the fist and the wrench.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
a
that's
great
cool.
looking shirt. No, you should be all right, actually. I mean, truthfully, these days, most everything when it leaves the line is set up pretty lean. So I'm guessing his has got a power commander or a juice box on it. Simple answer, Michael. Bung your stock pipes on. I think it's going to run just great. Run it for, a couple of weeks, do a plug chop. If they look really, really black, pull the power commander. But you know what? I think they're going to look just fine. Just leave it as it is. Put your stock pipes on and enjoy the ride. And I will tell Michael this. He has forgotten how good his bike sounds like on stock pipes.
They do sound good.
They sound
They do sound
amazing
good.
on stock pipes.
Yeah.
They've just this really nice Harley were very, very clever with the tone of their stock pipes. The amount of people who come up to me and say, dang, that Super Glide sounds good. What have you done to it?
Stock pipes.
Stock pipes.
Yeah.
It goes like this: tomato, tomato, tomato.
So it goes tomato, darlings.
Well, how come English bikes don't go tomato?
No. Hey, all right. We got one more email, and I saved the best for last. So this one is from our friend John.
Johnny.
A lot of
And-
John names today.
He wrote a song.
Tell me.
No, it's not a good. Tell me why. He wrote a song. It's called Burning Road, and he's sharing it with
Hunka
us.
Hunka Burning Road.
Hunka Hunka Burning Road. I'm going to play a little bit of it for you, and then we'll do our outro, and then I'll play the rest, just so you guys can hear a little bit of it. It is, here we go. This is, let me go to here. But yeah, it's about motorcycling. Here you go. Here's a little taste of it. Got a good beat, right? What kind of road? Can you imagine yourself going down the road on this? And this is an original song.
Hang on, girl, hang on tight. Let's ride this desert road all night. Wrap your arms around me like you mean it, girl. The wind in your hair, the stars in your eyes. Feels like we won a carnival prize. Let's ride this wave, babe. Take it round the world. This burning road is ours to share.
All right, so what do you think of that?
Amazing, beautiful.
Oh, I think that is great.
So I'll play the rest at the end so everyone can hear the whole song. But I
Nicely
like
done.
that.
Where can somebody get that?
You
If
know?
one of our listeners wanted to find it.
You know what?
SoundCloud?
Spotify.
Yeah, you can go to Bandcamp. And it's John Michael Lind, Lind.
There you go.
Don't forget that D on there. It's not like Harley Davidson. It's not Lynn. It's John Michael Lind.
I wonder if he's a relation to Bob Lind.
Or Paul Lind.
Oh.
Well, no, Paul Lind had an E on the end. Bob Lind, you know who Bob Lind was?
No.
He wrote the, what is it? The Bright Elusive Butterfly of Love.
Okay.
No, folk song from the 60s.
You all at
That's
some
a deep
point
dive
tonight
right
have
there.
lost me completely. But hey, we got through it. This was a show where I had no show, and we pulled it together with just a medley of stuff.
We always do, Liza. You have little faith. We're never going to be short of material because there's always so much going on.
Okay.
We're never going to be short of material.
Yes, but
Liza.
I'm the one who has to come up with that material every time. But hey, I did it, and that's the thing that's great about this group. Going back to all the Misfits, past, present, future, is I've also been blessed with having people I can just bounce stuff off of and just come up with a crazy idea or here's a topic and go with it. And that's, I think, the other thing too. The people in this room are all people who like to let's go down that road. Let's talk about that. What is the golden age? Let's talk. and this is what really the podcast is all about. This is what we do in the garage.
Yeah.
We sit down and we're having these conversations. We're talking about
Part of it is like
hypotheticals.
enjoying telling people that they're wrong.
And there's that.
You know, you're totally wrong about that. I just want to
Exactly. And agreeing. Yep.
So yeah, I think also, you say when people coming around on the podcast, these are people that like to talk incessantly about motorcycles.
Emma's tearing balls off over there.
Ah, jeez. Okay, I think we're ready to get out of here. Hey, go to Germany with Emma, Castles and Curves. Come to our rally, April 21st
I just
through
ate
23rd.
Drink gin and tonics and see my boobies.
Don't overpromise and underdeliver now. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'll show anybody.
Yeah, I know. That's why we got to make it a raffle prize.
I've seen 'em.
Just to reduce.
Emma is walking spring break. So get ready for bring your spring break carnival beats with you.
Yes.
And hang
Emma gone
on.
wild.
We now can understand what the rest of the country goes through with weather and waiting for the riding season. I get it now.
Right.
I get it. I feel bad that, yes, anybody has to go through this. So get out there and ride. And if you can't ride yet, hang on. It's coming.
Yep. Get out
It
there and
is.
ride.
But get out there and ride. Be you a rider or a biker.
Yeah. Or a motorcyclist.
Or a scooterist.
Or a scooterist.
Oh, go scooterista.
Those guys.
Ooh, scooterista?
Or a bicyclist, for that matter.
No, we don't like them. No. But
Get
also,
some sun is what I'm saying. Go out there and get some
go
sun.
to motorcyclesandmisfits.com and you'll find the link to everything there. And, for all of our Patreon subscribers, $5 or more, the new shirts have been ordered. There's still a chance if you are a Patreon subscriber or you become a Patreon subscriber at $5 or more, you'll be sent the code to order the shirt for free at no cost to you.
I haven't got my shirt yet.
You're ordered, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But and I'll be shipping them out next month. So join us on Patreon. And we've had a lot of new Patreon subscribers. Emma, you've got some emails
I
to
have
answer.
indeed.
And so that's my way of saying thank you to everyone. I think we're ready to get out of here. Thanks, everyone. This is Liza.
Stumpy John.
Emma Dalek.
Craig.
Bing bong.
Bagel.
And we're out of here.
Cool.
Hang on, girl, hang on tight. Let's ride this desert road all night. Wrap your arms around me like you mean it, girl. The wind in your hair, the stars in your eyes. Feels like we won a carnival prize. Let's ride this wave, babe. Take it round the world. This burning road is ours to share. This burning road is ours all night. This burning road's gonna take us where? You and me, babe, we're gonna be alright. There's a place up ahead I know you'll love. Trees all around and stars above. Moonlight shimmering silver on the lake. The scent of your hair, the love in your eyes. Lord, I know I'm a lucky guy. Let's take off the love we can make. Time don't matter anymore. Space is what we came here for. Listen to that big old engine roar. There's lots of roads in our future, babe. Don't matter which one we take. Let's keep our front wheel pointed at the sun. Like water, the miles, they'll flow by underneath this crystal sky. And our two hearts will beat as one. This burning road is ours to share. This burning road is ours.